Hi guys, welcome to Kenganda, your number one stop YouTube channel for everything entertainment, real estate, meat, curvy, restaurant reviews, and so much more that can actually benefit you. My name is Janita Maya. I'll be handling the news for today. Now, our first story for today is that black gun ownership has increased over the last 6 months. Reports indicated that many African Americans have purchased or went to purchase guns because of the racial tensions that are happening in the United States of America. Most African Americans were heard saying that they were purchasing the guns to protect themselves because they never know what could happen. I mean, it's all this tension that is happening around them, within them, and everywhere they go. We're going to take a history lesson right now. In the 1960s, African Americans were not allowed guns, or they were not even allowed to be near guns, while their white counterparts were allowed guns and they could do with the guns as they wished. Now, most African Americans in the recent years have decided to buy guns. It's like a form of them taking their power back, because if the white person can own a gun, then a black person should also be able to own a gun. Most of them are saying that they have to get these guns because they don't know what's going to happen. And you know, with the recent president of the United States, most of them saw that that racial discrimination was, going up, and they decided, you know what, now is the time to get a gun. Now, I know you're wondering why purchase guns. I mean, violence doesn't fight violence, but you have to look back at the past incidences that have happened. We saw a white woman, a white lady with her husband, pull out a gun and point it at a black woman while her child was also watching. She literally took a stand, it's like a movie, and she was pointing the gun at this lady, telling her to move away. All she would shoot. Now, you can imagine the position this black woman was in. Now, let's say she also had a gun. So if the white woman had a gun and the black woman also got a gun, I'm thinking that that could be an equal stand for both of them, because then they all have the same fighting ability, because you don't just pull out your gun on someone without a gun and expect them to do what? They can't run away, you will shoot them. I mean, you, the person with the gun, has more power than them. Now, to also add on that, we've also seen Ahmaud Arbery, who was gunned down while he was going for a jog. A minor, simple jog, something as little as a jog could get you killed. I mean, you're running down your street, you're in your neighborhood, and then some white person decides, hey, here's a gun, let's play maybe hunting, and then gun the other person down, which is totally unfair. So many African Americans are saying this as a chance for them to get guns to protect themselves, because maybe if an African American is going down for a jog, they're taking a jog, and a white person pulls out a gun on them, if they also had a gun on them, maybe then they could protect themselves, because you just never know what could happen while you're out there as an African American in America. Now, can we talk about the double standards that are happening in the United States of America? Why is it that a white person can have a gun, carry it around with them, put it in their cars, and point it at anyone they can come across, but a black person isn't allowed to have a gun? Now, even back in history, civil rights activists had guns on them because they had to protect themselves. When you fear for your life, you do everything you can to make sure you protect yourself, because you only live this life once. You don't know what could happen, so you do all you can to make sure you protect your life. So because of everything that is happening, churches have been offering courses to those who want to learn about guns or who want to learn about the safety of guns, because you're not going to keep your gun around your child. I mean, you have to keep it in a safe place, and you actually have to know how to operate the gun. So there are churches actually offering courses on how black people can protect themselves and how they can protect the gun from their loved ones, because a gun could go off and even kill someone within your family, yet it was there meant to protect you. Now, moving on to our next story, 2 California teachers claim that they were laid off because of racial discrimination. Now, these 2 women were the only black women in the school that they were teaching at. One was a counselor, the other was another African American teacher, and they were laid off. But the administration of the school, that is St. Vincent de Paul in California, told them that they were laid off because of, the virus affecting everything, and they also had budget cuts. But the 2 women could not take that sitting down because they knew they were fired because of the skin of their color. So the two women decided to get a lawyer who could fight that battle in court, so they can get their jobs back, or say something about the racial discrimination that has been happening in this particular school. They also held a protest outside the school, but the protest had two groups: African Americans fighting for their rights against racial discrimination, and the other party that was just saying no, they were laid off because of budget cuts, so they didn't have to instigate anything at that school. Now, with everything happening all over the world, the racial tensions, the protests, everyone, the kneeling, players kneeling down and everything, why would this administration of this school decide, hey, it's a better time, let's fire the only two workers or the only two employees we have in this school, let's do that? I mean, did this administration sit down and think, wait a minute, with everything that's happening right now, there's a lot of tension. You have to tread lightly and make sure you make sound decisions, because you firing your two black teachers is going to send out a different message. Even if the administration did this because of budget cuts, this was not the time to do such a thing, because whether they like it or not, they will be seen as if they're, conducting racial discrimination against the two women. And another thing that also, sticks out to me is the color of someone that does not determine how they'll perform at work. Like, there's no scientific explanation for that. You don't just look at someone's color and decide, hey, you are black, you won't perform very well. No, the mind is a different thing. If someone put in the hard work, they read, they did that research and everything, and they also perform excellently, you as an employer should be able to acknowledge that they did their best and not because of their race and whatnot. I mean, it's 2020. I don't think such things should be happening anymore, but yet again, human beings like repeating their mistakes. So yeah, there's that. And this also brings me to my last statement: human rights. We are all equal in the eyes of God, no matter what, no matter the color. So one person discriminating another doesn't give them the power to do anything. It doesn't change anything. So in everything that you do, make sure that you're kind and don't judge people according to their race or what they do. Just be kind and spread love, because at the end of the day, we shall all die. And so why were you stressing? Why were you being mean to someone? It just makes no sense. Make sure you get back to us in the comment section. We love to interact with you. We want to get to know what you're thinking. While you're doing that, please subscribe to Kenganda. There's a little red button somewhere. Just click it, subscribe, and subscribe. And also follow us on our social media pages, that is Kenganda Nation on Facebook and Kenganda on Instagram. I am your host, Joanita. Till next time.